I am back with my Bible study review, going back through the Bible again, seeing things in new light, and I wanted to pop on here for Genesis 3, some of the things that stood out to me that I never noticed before. So one of the things that you almost always know and notice in Genesis 3 is the serpent in the garden. But some things that I saw with a new light was in Genesis 6, where it says, "So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it too." Now, I always read this as Eve giving it to her husband almost in a tricking way. Maybe not necessarily to trick him, but I always read this in the light of Adam not knowing that it was fruit from the tree of knowledge, almost like she was deceiving him. But when I was talking to my husband about this, he had let me know that she wasn't actually intentionally or unintentionally deceiving him, that Adam knew that she had taken the fruit from the tree of knowledge and that he was failing to lead their family and lead their home. And so while Eve was also being deceived by the serpent, Adam was not leading their household in this situation and allowing her to eat the fruit, and he allowed himself to eat the fruit and disobey God. And I thought that that was just such an interesting, different take. And it, of course, is a huge parallel in about how important it is for our husbands to be stepping up and leading us always in our decisions, and decisions for our family, because since the beginning of time it's been important. So I just thought that that was so interesting. And also it struck me a little bit different. I kind of always just read right over it, but I really was paying attention this time in Genesis 3 when I read about the punishments or repercussions from sinning for the man and the woman, and how interesting they are. So for the woman, Genesis 3:16, then he said to the woman, "I will sharpen the pain of your pregnancy, and in pain you will give birth, and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you." Such an interesting punishment, that he will sharpen the pain of pregnancy, which is probably the biggest, most monumental moment of most women's life. To have that pain sharpened is so interesting. And then also, and and you will desire to control your husband, but he will rule over you. That is such an interesting desire to put on a woman's heart, um, because it seems like there was a cohesiveness before the fall, that there was this symbiosis before the fall between man and women, and the masculine and the feminine, and the two halves meeting. So I thought that that was such an interesting thing that God decided to put a pin in that. And then to the man, so this is Genesis 3:17, and to the man he said, "Since you have listened to your wife and ate from the tree," that's what I was talking about before. My brain just skipped over it every time I read it. But this reiterates that Adam was not leading, he knowingly ate the apple. "Whose fruit I commanded you not to eat. The ground is cursed because of you. All your life you will struggle to scratch a living from it. It will grow thorns and thistles for you. Though you will eat of its grains, by the sweat of your brow will you have food to eat, until you return to the ground from which you were made. For you were made from dust, and to dust you will return." Such an interesting punishment or judgment to put on the man. And I just thought that those were so interesting, and um how powerful that must be. We see our men out there working the fields and just breaking their backs for us to be able to eat, and that came from God. So I hope you found that interesting. Hopefully you took some things away from it, but I'll be back tomorrow for Genesis 4, giving my insights. Thanks.